Oh, you caught me off guard. I was on guard and then I fell off guard. Look at me. Hey, welcome. Happy New Year, boys and girls. Welcome to another riveting edition of The Ghost and the Goat, starring me, paranormal investigator, hosted by me, paranormal investigator buddies there. I have a co-host, Jai. She usually joins us right before our guest does. This is just the first 20 minutes of every show is just me talking, crying tears of about sports and sipping some good beers, and then I bring on my paranormal guest at 8:20 about. So, oh, uh, yeah, this is not the beer show. The beer show's on Thursday night, folks. Tune into that 3 Dudes Brews. But tonight we have a very special show. It's my first time back since we were on last right before Christmas. Took a little break. Went on vacation. Honestly, I drove down to South Carolina. Lovely state of the Union. A lot of great history. A lot of great family down there. I took a little drive. Got in the car. Drive down to DC. I went down to DC, guys, and amongst other great beers, I got this one which I hadn't tried. I just kind of like, oh, this looks good. I just grabbed it. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's Port City in Alexandria, Virginia, right? And Alexandria is a lovely town, a lot of good restaurants, a lot of great pizza, believe it or not, which is weird because I wouldn't usually associate Alexandria, Virginia with great pizza, but a lot of great beers, a lot of great breweries. Aslan, big cheers, guys. Anyway, this isn't the beer show. I'm digressing. I'm sorry because my mind is somewhere else right now. Yeah, so anyway, I took a little break, blah blah blah. Went on a few historical battlefield tours. Did a whole ton of museums, guys. Great time. It was not, and not to mention, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm here in Rhode Island. It is winter time. It is not nice out. It is like not bad this week, but oh my Lanta, they got dumped with a whole ton of snow. I was down there like 73 degrees, beautiful South Carolina. So that was a great time. Big cheers to South Carolina. Thank you guys for hosting. You're such a lovely state. Lovely history, lovely museums, guys. Battlefield of Camden, Revolutionary War. I drove back up north and I stopped at the Cold Harbor, which is the last battle of Grant's overland campaign in 1864. A lot of blood spilled. Honestly, guys, it's a lot of trenches, and I was like walking around the trenches and walking around the battlefield, which is all in the middle of the woods, and I felt that like that feeling like, damn, I wish I had a recorder on me because this would be the time that I would definitely hit my recorder, because I'm definitely feeling that paranormal feeling right now. So that it was a good time. Check it out anytime you get the chance. I also had a paranormal encounter this past fall at the Mule Shoe salient at Spotsylvania Courthouse down there in scenic Virginia. So check that out, guys. Don't always fly. You'd be surprised what you're driving over when you're flying, what you're flying over when you fly instead of drive. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm just trying to do something here, which is totally like bad timing. But my guest says, "Hey, buddy, that link you sent me isn't quite working, so I'm trying to like do this and multitask at the same time." And I'm not having a great time. But anyway, I'll more into that in a second. I'm going to get into really quick, guys. Put my head back on the show for 5 minutes, buddy, and talk a little bit about sports before I hopefully bring in my paranormal guest. So, the Boston Celtics, right? I've failed to mention for the entirety of a season. I thought wrongly that they were not going to be great because Tatum's down, torn Achilles since last year, and Jaylen Brown is great, and I didn't think he'd be able to carry. He's proved me wrong. He put up like 50 points the other night against I think it was against the Clippers. They've won 8 of their last 9. They're in second place, ahead of the New York Knicks, and just 3.5 games behind the Pistons. They're due to get who's these face? They're due to get what's his face back. Tatum back in March. right in time for the playoffs, right in time for right before the playoffs. Guys, don't count out the Celtics yet. The luck of the Irish, guys. I don't like to say that because that's a whole nother podcast. But that's an awful way to refer to the Irish. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to do this with the Ghost and the Goat. Okay, um, but don't count out the Celtics. They are not done, and they are certainly not going to be done come like playoff time when we're all healthy and everybody's playing good basketball. Yeah. So anyway, that's basketball. That's all I got to say about basketball right now. I'm going to send this link to him, and then all right, here we go. You got my full attention now. All right, football. Oh God, see, I'm wearing this T-shirt. My auntie Dale. I'm 46 years old, and yes, I still call my aunt auntie. I got she got me this shirt. This is me watching the Dolphins, waiting for the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl, and it shows like a skeleton sitting on a couch, and he's watching. You can't see that. He's watching the Dolphins on TV, and of course he turned into a skeleton because the Dolphins, like every year, they sucked even more this year than they have in previous years. The culmination of the past, like I don't know, like 6 seasons with Tua Tagovailoa has like come to a close. He is not a good quarterback. There's a lot of talk that Mike McDaniel was going to get the axe mid-season. They axed the GM instead, which they've needed to, guys, for like 4 years. He is just garbage. Greer. I wanted him to go, and then he brought in Tyreek. I'm like, maybe. And no, not so much. But before I get into the this week's action, the wild card divisional playoff series, there's some quick news from they call it Black Monday, the day after the football season ends, because all these coaches get shit canned. And a lot of coaches not only got shit canned, but they also left on their own, which is weird. And not really weird. This is football. This is how it happens. But anyway, so started on Monday with Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns. Go figure, they fired their head coach again. Cleveland has been, they showed some signs of life. He's been with them for 6 seasons, but he hasn't produced enough. So they shook hand him there in Cleveland. The Giants are going to hold on to Joe Schoen as their GM. It's good for the Giants. They kind of looked okay this year. Pete Carroll on his first year of his 3-year contract, because the Raiders were the worst team in football. Not that they were really that great last year either, or the year before that, or the year before that. They fired Pete Carroll. He is pushing 80 guys, but he's still a football genius. I don't know. They give him the shaft and only kept him 1 year. Another coach, Cardinals fired head coach Jonathan Gannon. Cardinals, I don't know if it was his fault. His quarterback was down. They put in Jacoby Brissett, who should be starting anything. Along with hiring a new head coach. Oh yeah, Arizona, they're going to have to look at a new quarterback option. Sorry, I'm moving along here. Okay, Giants, yeah, good. More about the current Gardner. All right, so the Rams should anticipate to have Devontae Adams back for the game against the Carolina Panthers. More on that in a second. Stefanski again. Mike McDaniel, my coach. So he hasn't been fired. In fact, they're going to keep him, I'm imagining, and he's going to be involved in the process of hiring the new GM. So we'll see. I don't know. He did some things, guys. A lot of people give him shit, but I don't know. He's just part of a shitty organization. Let's see. The defensive coordinator, no big surprise here, of the Dallas Cowboys, Matt Eberflus. He got flushed down the toilet because his defense, as much as the Cowboys scored this season, they got scored against by 2. They're just like, that defense is bad. They could put up 44 points and still lose. How is that possible, buddy? Hey, I don't know, buddy. But they, because of the Dallas Cowboys, anything's possible when it comes to sucking. And they sucked and they lost and they cutting that guy loose. Another guy leaving, Cliff Kingsbury. He's the offensive coordinator. Smart-minded guy of the Washington Commanders. They're getting rid of him, and they're also getting rid of their defensive coordinator, Joe Witt Jr. Both of them are going to go look for new jobs this week. The Falcons are retaining Kirk Cousins because Michael Penix not just has a funny name, but he's kind of funny as a quarterback. So I don't know if they're quite confident in that whole position, so they're going to hang on to Kirk Cousins for the last 2 years of his very long career. The Broncos. No, that's not important. The Broncos are number 1 seed. The Lions announced today that they have parted ways with offensive coordinator John Morton. They didn't make the playoffs for the first time in a few years. That's really sad. And the biggest news came today. John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens is calling it quits. Bye-bye, dude. Later. So that's what's going around all these coaches getting fired. I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop with McDaniels. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I maybe they'll keep him, maybe not, but they're not playing any kind of thing called football these days. The Dolphins just suck. So before we bring out our paranormal peeps this evening, what's this? Close this, buddy. I'm going to talk a little bit about this week's rundown for the football play. This is the wild card weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take a sip of my beer because I'm really thirsty. Oh, it's so delicious. Wild card weekend starts here. My Dolphins are not in it because they suck. But the teams that you can see play this weekend, starting things off, we have the Carolina Panthers. I don't know how the hell these guys made it in the playoffs. Because they're in a shitty division, buddy, and the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also suck. Probably. They made it into the they won the division and they're seeded 4th. And they're welcoming in the Los Angeles Rams, who are seeded 5th, who are clearly, guys, boys and girls, the much better football team. Seeding doesn't count. Although the Rams did lose earlier in the year to the Panthers, they had a few really upstart games. You know, they beat the Rams, they beat the Dolphins. Like, what is that about? And they slipped into the playoffs because the Falcons won and Tampa Bay took such a dive second half of the season that they looked like dominant in the beginning, and then the Bucks, and then they fell apart. So guys, money line here, straight up, the LA Rams. I don't know what the cover is. I do know what the cover is on the next game. No, I don't know that one either. The Philadelphia Eagles travel to San Francisco. Philly has an incredible defense, incredible secondary, incredible pass rush. While San Francisco has a good offense, they do not have a good defense. And Philly is going to expose the shit out of that. Looking for Philly to welcome San Francisco in to kick their ass and their season this year. I pick Philly all day. Maybe a game of the week. During the season, maybe not. During the season, both teams split a win, each at home. This wild card weekend, the Chicago Bears, guys, I call these guys a trash organization like last season and earlier this season. They surprised me a lot. They took the number 2 seed in the NFC. Like, where the hell did that come from? I didn't think these guys were that good. And they host the Green Bay Packers, who at one time in the season looked like they might have done some serious damage in the playoffs, but they've lost the last 3 games in a row. Love is back from concussion protocol, so there's no excuses there. But they just haven't been. They just haven't been the same, guys. I don't know. I don't know what the point spread is on this game, but I'm gonna say Chicago. Oh God, I think it could be Green Bay. It could go either way here. But Chicago's been hot, and Green Bay's been not. So I would take the Bears. The next game is we'll go right in the middle here. This is going to be a good game here. The Jacksonville Jaguars are hosting the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills. This was they've had 5 years to put this all together with the Patriots being dormant and not being a good team, and they failed miserably. They get to. They can't get past the Chiefs. They can't get past the Ravens. Now are they going to get past the Jaguars? Are they going to get past the Jaguars? I just said. I don't know. The Jaguars have a sneaky good defense. They kind of been under the radar. Trevor Lawrence has been playing some better football. He put up three passing touchdowns last week. Etienne is a running back who is going to run all over a lack of Buffalo run defense. While their secondary is pretty decent, I think Jacksonville's got everything going on where they can at least get by the Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry, Harry. I'm going to say go Buffalo, but if I'm going to be a betting man, I'm going to bet on the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this one. The next game. The so this game, this my co-host, this is a game for her. Her Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, another team. They sneak. Did they win the division? I don't know, but it seems like they won the division. Seems like they kind of snuck in. It was either them or the Ravens. They showed up the Ravens. John Harbaugh quit his job, and Aaron Rodgers is returning to the NFL playoffs. They host the Houston Texans. This is going to be a good game, boys and girls, because Houston's got a dominant defense, and their offense it's been sketchy all year. Some weeks it's awesome. Other weeks it's like, oh my god, what happened to Schwab? I don't know. Their quarterback. What happened to this kid? He was awesome last year. Has been awesome this year. Their run game is either there or it's not. What's going to happen? Pittsburgh. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know. I think he's scrappy enough where he can put up at least 16 points. I'm going to go like 16-13 Pittsburgh in this one. It's going to be close, but I would put my money on Pittsburgh. Their defense is great. Watt is back. I mean, no, the defense isn't great, buddy. Their defense is good enough, I think, to beat up on Houston if Houston doesn't bring the A game on offense to town. So I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. Oh, my God. I can't believe I just said that. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. You pick whoever. I think Houston could easily win this game also. It's just going to be one of those any given Sunday type events. It's going to be a good football game. The last game of the divisional round, of course, I saved this one last. This is also the 8 o'clock game, so technically it is last. Oh, God damn. The New England Patriots, seated at number 2. Oh, my God, it kills me to say it again. They host the LA Chargers for the initial round of the playoffs. Now, New England, I have stats. I've busted balls all season because, not busted balls, just pointing out facts to people. And they're like, but you're such an asshole, dude. I know my team sucks. It's okay. But, like, there's certain like, factoids. One of them, of course, is Drake May, their second-year quarterback, which is a little scary being an AFC East guy myself. He's 72% of completions this season, the highest completions for the entire run of it. Yeah, so he's doing pretty good. I had some other fun facts I was gonna throw in the air, guys. I don't know. The Patriots, I feel like that most of the teams that they played this season have not been over 500. So there's that. So I don't think, while I'm not gonna all right, they kicked our ass like both games. Well, not the second game. They only won by 6 points, but they put up a lot of points. Anyway, the Dolphins, whatever. They beat the Buffalo Bills already. All right, they beat the Ravens, even though the Ravens like, I just don't know. I think I don't know. All right. So this game here, I don't know if that's for real. That's what I'm saying. This game here, it's gonna come off like me being a Patriot hater because I am. But in all realism, who have they beaten? Anyway, they host the Chargers. Hebert took the week off last week. He's been recovering from a broken non-throwing hand. His throwing hand is pretty on fire though. They've been pretty hot most of the season. They've been in wild card contention most of the season. They have a good running game. They have some good receivers. They have a decent defense, and they have a good coaching system. On the flip side of the ball, Mike Vrabel, dude, here's to you, dude. You took a team that was 4 wins last year. They had the 5th round of the draft pick the year before because they sucked, which is great to see. But you've taken that and you turned it completely around. And these guys, they have like 4 maybe 4. They don't even have 4 losses. They have like 2 or 3. I don't even know. The Patriots, if in fact this isn't a fluke, it pains me to say, but we might be we might be seeing another dynasty here in New England, which is not something that Buddy wants to see at all because the first one nauseated. It just, oh God, it was year after year. These awful fans. Speaking of awful fans, my Dolphins, they visited Gillette Stadium here in New England this year. This past weekend, and I'll make this final point before I flip to the paranormal. And there was a disabled Dolphins fan wearing his Dolphins glory, you know, doing his best, bringing his best to Gillette. We knows we're gonna get destroyed. He still went and he put on his gear, and this Patriots fan punched him. It's on camera. There's a photo. I had a photo, but it didn't. I don't know. I lost it somewhere in translation. Anyway, guys, um, let me speak from personal experiences. I've been to many a football game at Gillette Stadium, and the fans, while they're my brethren during the baseball season, because we're all Boston Red Sox fans, holy shit, that's some of the worst fans in football. I've had beers dropped on my head. I've had like snowballs and ice balls pelted at me. I've been pushed. You name it, guys. They're just not nice people. Whereas I've gone to other stadiums like Baltimore, Buffalo, Cleveland, New Jersey. Cool. It's football, you know. It's usually like one of these back and forth, but I don't know. Sometimes I'll say wide right at Bills games, and they all give me dirty looks. But you know, it's not. That's just dicky. Like that Metcalf for the Steelers punching the fan. Like, dude, you're a professional. Anyway, I digress. Gonna flip the switch. Hey, I'm gonna welcome my co-host, the lovely and charming Jai. Welcome, Jai. Welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, dear?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I didn't mention in the sports section, but I did really enjoy watching the Ohio State Buckeyes lose tremendously. While Miami took my Notre Dame spot, I'm so glad that they gave the 1-2 to the
Yeah,
it
I'm
was.
a Michigan fan, so when it
You said
comes to
Michigan also lost, didn't they?
yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
they lost that bowl game, which is unfortunate. But they hopefully they can mitigate all the wave of drama and nonsense that's going through Michigan right now. That coach didn't he just get like some scandal,
I don't know. They need to
some
replace
naughtiness he
him.
was doing on the sidelines, and he got caught and he got shit canned. I think that's yeah. Coaches are a dime a dozen. There's all these NFL coaches who all need new jobs. So hopefully you can score one of them. But
Yeah.
you know, had a good holiday season. Had a good
Oh
had
yeah.
a good last 2 weeks. Yeah,
Had a great time.
that's good. That's
Great
good to you.
time.
Awesome.
You?
Oh, I got in the car. After Christmas, I drove down south. I went and saw my wife's family who was near the Charlotte area in South Carolina,
Hmm.
Lancaster, whatnot, around the border. And then I went down to see in Charleston. Went to see my Auntie Dale, who got me this awful dolphin shirt that I'm wearing tonight.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, right. And and I spent New Year's with her, and then I came back up New Year's Day and stopped at a few battlefields. Went to a ton of like dorky history museums. Drank a whole bunch of good beer. And here I am.
That's
I
cool.
went back to work today. I'm like, oh God, and here's all the shit that I left when I left 2 weeks ago. And it's here to greet
Right.
me like a loyal dog at the door. So
Of
yeah, you know,
course.
it's always good. It's nice to get away. I needed to get back. Oh God, I start school next week again, so that's a whole nother. But
Right.
you know, it's life. Life must go on, of course. Um, Speaking of going on, well, no, not speaking on going on with life. I was just gonna go on with the show. Tonight's guest, he joins us. I think the first time on this show, I've had the tremendous of opportunity to be in his presence. Have you, Jai? Have you met tonight's guest? You know who he is, right? Have you
I don't believe I've met him.
you've never met him on this like no on this
I don't
on
think
this
so.
okay on this what am I saying
I
on this
could be wrong though.
medium,
My
if you will.
memory. Yeah.
Tonight's guest, he's an author, he's a public speaker. I've seen him, guys. I've seen him speak. I've read his book. I've seen him speak and tell his story multiple times. Every time you get something new, you get something different. His story has been featured on the Travel Channel, on Sci-Fi, and most recently on Netflix. I watched it again the other day. Netflix True Haunting. Holy shit! What this
Mhm.
guy went through.
Right.
Incredible. But I'm not going to tell his story. He's going to tell his story, and here he is, the Ghost Boy of Geneseo, Chris DiCesare. Chris,
Well, hello.
how you doing, man?
Hi,
Happy New Year.
Chris.
Happy New Year and Scott Norwood, huh?
Yeah. Mm. Oh, so what's going on, man? What's new? Other than Netflix, you're on Netflix, so that's huge.
Very busy. It's nice to be able to share and to be able to go around and spread some positivity. You know, I don't know if your viewers, listeners know. Back in May, I got diagnosed with eye cancer, and I
Oh
had
God.
the surgery
Oh,
with
sorry.
Oh,
radiation in my eye, and I have my final surgery in 2 weeks from yesterday. So that'd be kind of cool. Get that over out of the way. So far, cancer free and happy to be. You know, so it's
Oh, that's
nice
great, man.
so
Cheers. That's
amazing
Great.
awesome.
year. You know, so thank you. Yes.
That's big
Awesome.
news. Yeah, for sure. Chris, so for my guests, that my guests, for my audience who doesn't know who you are or what you've been through, give us a short bio of.
Sure. Yeah, I used to work in the saunas with Barack Obama in Chicago years ago. Oh no, wrong show. No, I've been a school teacher for about 30 years now
What do you
in New
teach,
York
Chris?
State. But people know me primarily because of what happened to me at college about 40 years ago in Geneseo. That's when we had what they now call an extreme haunting. I got to meet Ed and Lorraine Warren back in the day. We had the room blessed by a Catholic priest. We worked with a psychology professor at Geneseo to help record those EVPs, they called them back in the day, you know, and
Yep.
it lasted month after month after month. And we were just young teenage kids trying to make our way through. And I'm very happy that we did. And
Yeah.
over the last 4 decades, I've been able to go in cool places on Sci-Fi and Travel Channel and now Netflix. It's a really cool thing, and I
Oh, sure.
appreciate it.
Sure. So I was watching I watched the show when it first came out, the True Haunting on Netflix, and I watched it again the other day just to like refresh my memory. So it started when you were in your sophomore year?
That's right. Yes, second year of
Okay.
college. That's right.
So you went the whole freshman year and nothing.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I liked it. You know, I was running well, and lots of cool
Yeah.
people to meet. Music videos are out, MTV and things like that were new, and just nice time to be around. Nice
Yeah,
time to be
for
around.
sure.
Right.
For sure. So you're right around, when would you say? Was it in the fall? Was it pre-Halloween? When about did it
Well,
start?
yeah,
I
the Netflix show had the challenge of taking all the history before, after, and then it's up and compressing into an hour and 40 minutes. So the
True.
one thing you'll see about the Netflix show is a little off is the timeline.
Okay.
But they had to do that for filming purposes in terms of the outdoor weather and scenery and things like
Of
that.
course.
The
Yep.
actual haunting for me began at the end of January at the toga party that you
Okay.
mentioned in the episode. And that's when I first saw somebody or something looking inside the dance room there from outside in the cold darkness, and it really
Right.
struck me as this is a strange thing. He didn't look quite right. I thought maybe he had escaped from some kind of asylum. I didn't know, and scared that out of me. About a
Hmm.
week and a half later, I began to hear this voice whispering my name in the dorm room, and that's when I began to let Jeff know, hey, something weird's going on here. You know, I began to see this full-bodied apparition, this thing standing in the room, and later I looked back and said, wait a second, that looks like the thing outside the window back
Hmm.
weeks prior. But I didn't at the time think that was possible. I had no way of conceiving that could be something paranormal. And so, you know, if you're not looking for something, you don't often see it. Once I realized something was going on, I became much more aware of my environment and my surroundings. And Jeff began to record some of these observations, experiences, especially we got the photographs and the tapes and
Oh,
things.
right. Yeah, the one with the bones in it is like,
Yeah, that was the skeleton.
holy
That
shit.
was on Valentine's Day. And so my
Wow.
friends are going on dates. I'm in the room with Jeff taking pictures of ghosts. That was not cool. I knew right then and there something seriously wrong with my life.
Yeah, for
Time
sure.
for a reboot. Boop.
No, when you saw the apparition, or you saw something outside the window at the
Yeah.
toga party, and then you saw the figure in your room. Did you look at it long enough to see what you were looking at, or was it
I
just quick
said
and
it. I
you?
could not understand what I was seeing because Paul had just left out of the room.
Mhm.
That's a small college area. It's maybe 12 feet by 15 feet. I'm on the second floor. I'm 30 feet in the air. It's wintertime. The window's locked. There's one door right in front of me. No one gets in and out. And all of a sudden, I look over and there's this person standing in the corner of the room. His head is tilted as though his neck has been snapped, and his legs are coming out of the stereo, literally out of the stereo, like the Vision and the Marvel. Like, that is impossible. I looked at it. I couldn't. I looked at it again, and then the head moved a bit, and I ran. That was it. I just
Jesus.
threw that. I just had a box of candy in the air and ran down the hallway. Screaming.
In that moment, what were your thoughts? What were you thinking it might have been? Did you think it might be a person that came in your room, or was it like?
No, I thought that someone had put drugs in my food, or that there was a gas leak in the room, or that I was hallucinating, or that could have been SAD, hypnosis that I wasn't aware of. I knew that I was seeing this factually, but my mind couldn't understand how that was possible. It made no sense to me. So for the first time in my life, I panicked. My dad always said, because I was a nationally ranked runner back in the day. I knew Bill Rogers, Frank Shorter, all those people, Greta Weitz. And he said, you can't panic. A pilot can't panic. A surgeon can't panic. You just don't panic. And I never in my life panicked until that moment. And the fact that I panicked was actually scarier than seeing the ghost, because it meant I lost control of myself. Never a good thing.
Yeah, right. So when did you associate with it as a ghost?
Well, after Paul, my roommate, who would leave early on, I don't blame him. He got to go home. I would have too if I could have.
Yeah.
One evening, without me describing anything to him, independently, he saw what I'd seen. He said, "There's something in the room." And at the end of episode 1 of True Haunting, you see the thing rise up and the head goes to the side. And when he described exactly what I'd seen independently, then I knew it wasn't internal. Which at first made me very happy. I'm not going crazy, but then, what does that mean? There's a dead thing in the room. That actually seemed worse. So my victory celebration was very short lived. I'm like, this is actually worse. I'd rather take the pill and go home. But no, it's not big.
For sure. Did you seek any, before you put the 1 and 2 together, that this is a ghost, that it's not just you? Did you seek medical advice? Did you seek any professional, spiritual guidance? Anything?
Paul saw it, and then people saw the effects in the room of the moving objects and the shadows and the breezes. People would go in the room and they'd see their breath. The windows closed. It's 65 degrees, and you still saw your breath. That's impossible.
Right.
I see the photograph with my sleeves blowing back and things, and the photograph where they go. After the first 24 hours, I was certain it wasn't here. It was there. Then what do you do? What does that mean? And for some reason, it only called me. Paul heard it only call me.
Right.
Fran heard it only call me. Linda heard it only call me. Beth only. So whatever this thing was going through that moment, it wanted me. And we eventually, Paul and I went to go to see a priest. That's what you do in the movies. Because back in the 80s, there were no
of course
and shows. There was The Exorcist, things like that. And the war was going around. And in the movies, they go to a priest, and he comes down and he uses his cross and holy water and destroys everything, and the good guys win. It wasn't really like that in real life. It was a ceremony, a blessing he did. And so we sought help, and that actually helped because the room itself got safe, clear. But the thing got angry about being pushed away from me began to attack my friends. And so what it did was bring me to him. So Linda was held down in her bed. I had to go help her out. Beth's unconscious on her floor. I had to go help her out. Right. So then it got me in the shower. So it was not taking no for an answer. And that was a scary thing. And the priest can't bless 25 rooms. You can't come back time and time again. And plus, it's a secular environment. You're not supposed to do ceremonies of religion in secular environments. So when he did come the first time to go to my room, he told the night host, he's going to fix the stereo for me. He's a stereo repairman. Brilliant priest. I love that guy.
So the scene, the opening scene, not the opening scene, but the first initial experience, as the show describes, as you running through the woods and hearing your name. Is that not?
That happened, but not in order. The first time I heard my name was in the room, sitting there by myself, working on a college term paper. I heard Chris, and I heard it several times, and I thought, if someone's being a moron, a jerk, they're trying to just bother me, I'll just put headphones on. Put the headphones on. I actually played Sammy Hagar. I Can't Try 55, Voice of America CD. I'm like, nothing disturbs me now. This is great. And all of a sudden, over the second refrain, I hear Chris. I'm like, whoa. And I roll the headphones on the ground saying, well, how is that possible? This is not a prank. No, I never used the stereo until that point in time. They couldn't know we'd use it. They couldn't get in the room. There's only one key that I had in Paul, and Paul wasn't. There's no way. So the more things happened, the more I saw this intent. I
Mhm.
saw the validity of what was going on in terms of really happening. Just the hard part was why and what to do about it. That was the
Right,
difficult part.
right. Do you feel that at this point it was more of a malintent? It seems like it was out to get you. It physically attacked you, right? It
Yeah,
attacked your friends.
I had no back then as a teenager with no foreknowledge. I really thought it was evil and nasty and vicious.
Right,
uh, Maybe even you say demonic. It would show me images of itself with his intestines pulled out and his eyes gouged out. I'd say to Jeff, "This thing is evil. It's so cruel to do that." Only
hmm
to find out years later, it was showing me how it died. But again,
hmm
I didn't have the knowledge that people oftentimes have now with things on YouTube and books being written and support groups and paranormal
right,
research groups and
yep,
movies. It's a different world. Back then, that was the occult. You didn't
right.
really talk about it. If you did, just watch out for the problems. Now it's part of our language, part of our jargon. It's what we do.
So you found out how it you said how it died. It was like awful. It was showing you how it died. Why do you know why? Do you know the story behind this? Can you share
Oh
any of
yeah,
that? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's a familial thing apparently. This young man, Thomas Boyd, was
Mhm.
killed in 1779, and he was part of a scouting party with the Patriots. At the
Okay.
time, the British, the Redcoats, were in leagues with the Native Americans
Yep. The
because the British
Mohawks.
said,
Yep.
"Believe keep your land." The Patriots, us, said, "We want them. Move out of the
Yeah.
way." And he found himself on that side saying, "Let's free the colonies and push west." And he was part of a scouting party, and he was warned by his Native American guide, "Don't go that way. You're gonna get ambushed. There's a big party out there." And he said, "No, no map say that. That's our information doesn't say that. We're gonna go anyway." A skirmish broke out. People got shot. A
Yep.
fight broke out. More Native Americans came in. They're outnumbered. They tried to escape. He couldn't. They tortured him for hours and
Yeah.
hours. And
Yeah. That's something common here in Rhode Island. We have a tale called Nine Men's Misery.
yeah.
It's a location in the middle of Cumberland. It's where the Narragansett captured like 9 guys running away from a fight during the King Philip's War, and they burned them alive. They tortured them. They skinned them to death. It was
It's tough,
horrifying.
It's
Horrifying
really
what they used
hard
to do to
to
each other.
hear some of those things. In fact, George Washington was what said. He goes, "Burn everything down, burn
Hmm
everything down." And then, of course, that was like a mini trail of tears for the Native Americans heading up to Fort Niagara, where many of them perished because of the cold weather and things. The
Yep.
whole history is very brutal, very sad, very tragic. And so there again, with my connection was my relatives. My mom's name is Hubley. Adam Bernard Hubley, the brothers, found his body the next day and buried him in the ground. So my relatives put this person in the ground, which is really fascinating. When we were in the dorm, Jeff asked all of us, and Jeff was just the most amazing resource and friend. He asked us independently, "What would you call the ghost if you gave it a name?" I said, "Tommy." I had a parakeet named Tommy.
Oh wow.
He asked Paul, Tommy Knockers. He asked another, who was it? Was it somebody else? Tommy can hear me, but 3 people said Tommy independently. So he said this thing's name is Tommy. And
Wow.
it turns out the gentleman who was killed and tortured by that tree I ran past every time, his name
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Tommy,
Yeah.
Tommy Boyd. So
The
it's
torturing
amazing.
tree. Yeah. That's that's
Right.
that's 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 so weird. That's so weird that like that's too. That people would say that's a coincidence. That's too much of a coincidence. I
Well,
believe that's
yeah, but we
crazy.
didn't know that until 27 years after the haunting. When I left the college, I thought maybe some kid killed himself. I didn't know what was going on. Years later, we discovered that through research, through folks doing genealogy and things, and I said, "Oh my gosh, the thing that," as I mentioned to Jeff at the time, said his name was Tommy. He said he was from Danville, Pennsylvania. So I mean, everything matched up decades later, and to me, the revelation who this was and the connection to my family was as bizarre and strange as
Right.
the haunting itself. And I was a skeptic going in. There were ghosts. There was Casper, la 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 la, and then there was Jesus, ah, and there's nothing really in between that necessarily. And if there was, it certainly wasn't like common thing.
Right.
And so to have this thing in my room and in my college for month after month after month was just really stressful.
To
And
you, for you to even go to that college to be able to run by that tree.
yes,
How far back? How deep does this like rabbit hole go, Chris? How how much influence do you think the spirit had on your
I
life?
fall and break my leg. I don't know how that. See, one of the things I've always struggled with, and I think it's a fair thing to struggle with, is the balance between free will and predeterminism. The balance between this is my choice versus meant to be, love at first sight, things go in threes.
Right.
Astrology. There are two schools of thought. One says that it's all free will. You make connections on your own and you put the dots together based upon your perception. That's science. Others say no. There is a way of things. There are unseen rules or structures we have to learn about still, and it seems to be somewhere in the middle is where we fall. And I really can't walk that path well because, well, even with faith, faith literally is you believe without seeing, right? That's what faith is in the Western traditions. When you fall in love with someone, you have faith they will be kind to you and not betray you. We go on faith a lot, right?
Yep.
I don't have faith. I don't have to worry about. I saw life after death. I saw it many times over many time periods, interactions, talk. So I don't have faith about life after death. I know it, and I think myself years later, what does that mean? Is that will that help me or hurt me when it's time for me to go at the end? I don't know, but when you go through an ordeal, whether it's cancer, divorce, bankruptcy, addiction, a haunting, it changes how you think.
Oh, for sure.
People who suffer or survive as you did will recognize that other survivors. You know what? That's a thought that is born of an experience. And we can usually tell if someone's just using the BS line on us to get on Facebook or TikTok or something versus a real experience. It doesn't have to be your experience. We have different lenses. You're talking about football before. You might be the world's greatest Dolphin fan and still be a nice guy. World's greatest Steelers fan and be a nice guy. You can put them together, have a nice meeting, and then one team wins, one team loses. Great game, horrible game. Two people seeing the same exact thing with informed minds have exact opposite reactions to it based on their lens.
Right.
So at what point did you meet Ed and Lorraine Warren?
It was very early on. And it's nice to meet you, by the way. It was very early on.
You as well.
Jeff had seen a poster on the wall in the college and brought that poster to the dining hall. In fact, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right there. That's the poster of Ed and Lorraine Warren that was on the wall.
Wow.
From January 30th, 1985. And he said, let's go to that. I'm like, I don't really know if I go. And he said, well, the magic words, it's free. I'm like, well, if it's free, I could probably spare the time. It's that's why not. And I liked things like Star Trek wasn't real, but I enjoyed it. I think Monty Python wasn't real, but I loved it, right? So I figured even if it's not real, I'll just go have a nice time because it's free. It was a fascinating presentation. Lorraine she was really elegant. And I know one thing I can tell you without any question. People debate about the Warrens, good, bad, positive, negative. She believed what she was saying. She wasn't performing or acting or lying to us. She doubled down. She made the eye contact. I knew she was telling us what she believed. I don't have to believe that myself, but I respected the honesty. And she said things that I wasn't quite sure would be true. She mentioned many times that like attracts like. Many of your listeners probably heard that before. You put back and kind of this energy exchange, But in my mind, as a science background, no, it doesn't. Give me two magnets and like poles repel. So I was trying to go from my lens to hers. And it was tough.
Yeah.
The EVPs they played, Johnny and Buddy, they were freaky sounding. It could have been a goat who was sick, for all I know. I wasn't there when they were, but they did sound off, like strange. And the slides were pretty impressive. So I have to say that the presentation was powerful. And at the end of the presentation, Ed said, "Come on down, meet Lorraine." And Jeff said, "This is great." He had those questions written down to ask them, and I got in front of him because he wanted more time to think of his question. And I got up to the stage, and she would not shake my hand. And she said, "I won't shake your hand. I don't want to know my future." And Ed put his hands on me and pushed me off the stage. It's actually a little worse than what the Netflix show.
Rude.
Wow.
Effective, surprising, stunning, embarrassing.
Yeah.
They wasn't yelling at me. Probably it was rude, but I was in my feels like, what's I don't know if I'd done something wrong. I didn't know.
Was anything going on with you, Ghosty, at the time? Did you see? Had you had any experiences when you saw?
I seen the thing outside that window by that point in time. This is just days before the voices would come into play. But so I was a little upset by that. And Jeff had the opportunity, and I did too, to go with them on a tour of the campus doing an investigation of some of the dormitories. And I met a person named Dominic just a few months ago, who 40 years ago, she went to his dorm, to his room. He said, my room was haunted. She found it right away. Just, I couldn't believe it. I was stunned by that. She had some of this gift, and we didn't go because I was upset by that. Years later, 32 years later, their daughter, Judy, approached me at an event. And she said, hi, you're Chris, right? I'm like, yeah. She goes, you're the ghost boy? I'm like, yeah, that's me. She goes, my mom loves you. I'm like, who's your mom? She goes, Lorraine Warren. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's some other Chris.
No, she doesn't.
Well, let me
Right.
tell you what happened when I met your mom. It's not what. And she said, no. I heard the whole thing. I was in the car. Judy would not like to go to the presentations a lot. They would scare her, like the paranormal, like her parents. She'd wait in the car, the hotel room, and work on crosswords and stuff. Projects. And so her mom came back and said, there's this young kid with blonde hair, and his aura was like vibrant, bold, and it blocked me. I couldn't read people. I couldn't usually read them and find things. I thought he'd read me instead. And we're being paid to present, and he blocked me. So for them, it was saving the show. That's out of respect, actually, saying you're too much later on. They hoped I'd come back and see them later on and go on the thing with them, but I did not, because my feelings were hurt. So what I thought was very impulsive and unfortunate and kind of emotionally devastating to me, that these famous people reject me in front of all my friends, was actually from their point of view fascinating, and she spoke very highly of me. In fact, there are 2 monks bookends right there at Warren Library.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's a happy ending to that. I did have a chance to see Lorraine toward the end of her life, but
nice.
Judy explained to me that she had at that time severe onset of dementia. She must talk about her roosters and things. And I didn't want to scare her a second time. So out of honesty and respect for her, even though I was upset by the choice again, I didn't go because I didn't want to cause her any concern. When you have dementia, you don't always see and feel things. I don't want to alarm her a second time. Like, here we go again. So I appreciate that she said nice things about me. I appreciate her for revealing what happened to people with me. And so for me, it's a fascinating moment in time. She did talk about things like Christ-like, she called them, putting energy around you to protect your body and things. So some of the things she said during the presentation I actually used during the haunting. So my experience, net positive, even though that first encounter was definitely not positive.
Devastating.
Yeah.
So there's not one event that you could track that would trigger this. I'm thinking like you're running obviously right in the same area that you would run in the second in your sophomore year and your freshman year.
That was my long run route. That's about an 8-9 mile run. I did that at least twice a week, 3 times a week. I did that the year prior. I did it the spring prior. I did it for a year and a half. And in fact, on the day of the shower attack, I just run past that tree again. And I don't know exactly how that works, but I'll tell you, the priest's blessing was helpful to me. I don't know how that worked. He put oil on my forehead. He took this book out, The Viaticum of the Sick. He said some prayers. He blessed me. He blessed the room, and then it got quiet. No shadows, no flashing clocks, no voice. It was amazing. But then the thing, of course, began to attack people outside the room. And what are the rules to this? I don't know what the rules even are. But I will tell you that Lorraine Warren was being honest with me, so I appreciate that. And the priest did actually believe me, came to the room, did the blessing. However that works scientifically, I can't explain to you. It did work, which is wonderful.
All right, but then after the priest, you got attacked in the shower.
Yes,
it seems pretty horrifying reading it in the book and then seeing it on Netflix and other programs or whatnot.
I thought I was dead.
Yeah,
I thought I was dead, buddy.
It's like somebody stabbed you from behind. What was it? What was it like?
My mother gave up everything to have me. Wise choice, foolish choice, time will tell. But gave up everything. A young woman going to college in the 60s was unheard of, especially from a lower middle class family. She had a chance to live her dreams out. And yet for some reason, here I am. She rolled the dice, gave up her dreams to have me, which I can never repay. But there I was lying on the ground, bleeding from my back of the attack. Oh, I thought it was my poor mom. Now her son's a teenager, going to die on the bathroom floor of some college. That's all her dreams are gone. And I told myself, make a relaxed face so my mom would think I found peace. I don't want her to see me in the casket with a horrible face. My first thought went to her because she had given up so much to give me this chance. And prior to me falling on the ground, I was taking a shower and it felt like someone stabbed me in the back with a knife, because if a knife cuts at first, you don't feel it. It cuts the nerves. It's numb. But if you got your finger like making salad, the pain will come. You know,
Oh yeah.
this kind of thing under the cold water, right? And when I got stabbed, it pushed me forward. My face hit the side of the shower stall. I
Jesus.
turned to swing to punch. The shower curtain went all around me, like you see in the movie. I fell on the ground. Oh, I saw the marks on my back. I couldn't understand it, and I thought, well, I'm dying. I didn't want to die. Make a calm face, and then I saw on my wrist, and I couldn't move because of either shock or pain or the cold temperatures. Then I saw a droplet, a bead of water, like a pear-shaped bead of water on my wrist. And I just watched it sparkle. It was beautiful. It's the one beautiful thing in the world where there's a little droplet of water, you know, and water's like giving of life. And in that water droplet, I could see the room upside down. I'm like, refraction. Water refracts light. That is science. Then it fell. Remember that movie with Tom Hanks with Wilson, Castaway? Remember?
Yeah.
It's a ball. It's a
Castaway,
soccer
yeah.
ball. It's like, Wilson. You're like, I know it's a fake movie. I know it's a soccer ball, but this is so damn sad, right? Because you feel the pain. Like that, when the water droplet fell, and this is way before that movie was out, I felt sadness. My beauty is gone. There's no beauty in the world left. I looked down. Wait a second. It fell because of gravity. Gravity pulled it down. That's also science. And by my face, with tiles from the bathroom floor, was grout between it. And that got darkened, moisture. So I'm lying there dying, thinking, okay, wait, there's refraction, there's gravity, there's moisture. Science is working. What the hell is this? And at that point in time, the bathroom door, big window split open. I felt warm, dry air come in. I heard Jeff come in the room, his sneakers on the wet floor, but I'd fallen on the ground there. And I couldn't make out his words. I knew his voice. And then he lifted me up, and I'm trying to stand. And I couldn't know what's happening. And he put a towel around me, led me to his room, and then Ed's like, "Oh my God, what's happening to you?" And then Linda came in bath, and it was a big, big thing, you know. And they go to the hospital. You're going to the hospital, Chris, because you're bleeding everywhere. You got wounds on your back, and there's no way I invite him going to the hospital because then it will find me. They'll think I'm self-harming. They'll sedate me. I can't risk that. But I knew they're trying to help me, right? They're my friends. I'm bleeding, so I realized their lens and my lens were different. Like an intervention. I thought, oh my God, I'm thinking that I'm the guy in the intervention I see on TV all the time. That's me. It's so embarrassing. I knew I wasn't crazy. So I thought, well, how do I make their lens and my lens match? How do I do that? So I thought quick, because I was a marathon runner, you think quick in competition. I said, get peroxide. Who's peroxide? Get some cotton swabs, the balls, get some bandages. And so for 47 minutes, the old-fashioned clocks in the wall go with a second hand. I watched every second. It's like, ow, ow. My back was lined with bandages. I didn't wear a shirt for 3 days because it would pull the bandages off and it hurt too much. And that's how I avoided the hospital, because my friend's need was met. No bleeding out. They still want me to go to a doctor's for infection, but I didn't have to go to the hospital. I had my freedom. So it was tough being in those moments. And people ask the one question that they get upset with me about: where is the photograph of the scratches on your back? We've got pictures of you with the wind around you. We got pictures of the skeleton ghost in the room. We got all these things. But the most compelling thing, the picture of the ghost scratches, where are they? I didn't want it. Jeff had his camera. It was a 35 millimeter Minolta camera. And he said, I'll never forget it, as long as it was a moment in my life that is indelible in my mind. The natural light is fading. When I get a picture, I have to get it now, very soon. He lifted up his camera at the picture. I'm like, no. And I said to him, if you're my friend, you will not take that picture. And why? Because I wasn't investigating, I was surviving.
Right.
No one wants a picture of the place where they were attacked, knocked unconscious, raped, smashed, broken, embarrassed. No one wants that. You want to move beyond that moment. So for investigators, boo, I needed a friend. I needed to know I had value beyond the situation. And I said, if you're my friend, you won't take it. And Jeff said, very nobly, a very noble person, I won't take the picture. I'm your friend. And from that point on, we were like, I don't know, blood brothers, but besties, battle buddies. It was it, because I knew I could trust him as a human being. So that's why. And people said, so stupid, Chris. You always want evidence. No. If you think that the person you love the most in the world is cheating on you, having an affair, you can hire someone to follow them around. What if you do that? And that person comes back and says, here's your envelope, puts it on the table, plop right there. What's that? That's your evidence. That's my evidence. What you wanted right there. So I'm going to open that envelope and see my wife, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my friend, and they're on my bed maybe. Is it yesterday? Or is it my friend they're with? Are they happy? I don't know if I want to see those pictures.
Right.
I don't know if I recover from that. So sometimes when you're not investigating, you're surviving, the evidence doesn't help you escape from the claws of the emotional constraints of the moment. So I apologize profusely. Everyone out there nowadays who says, "Where's the picture?" I didn't want one,
We
and
don't
I'm
always
happy
need.
it's not there. So I apologize.
Dude,
No
honestly,
apology
some of the pictures
needed.
that you got. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just said no apology needed. You
Right.
never have to apologize for your choices.
Some of the pictures that you got anyway, dude, are like
Yeah.
pretty like I said, that skeleton. I wish I had it available to post it on the screen, but that
Yes,
guys, watch the Netflix special.
that's too far away. It's up in the frame right there. That's the Jeff. That's Valentine's Day as well. And once the ghost had run through me and done these things, Jeff wanted more pictures of it because I wanted to get out of the room. And he said, "Oh, no,
Mhm.
where is it?" And I pointed above the loft, and I said, "Right there." Jeff says, "Where?" I'm like, "Jeff, the dead thing is the ghost." What? The
Mhm.
dead guy looking at us, he's the ghost. Take his picture. Chris, I don't see what you're seeing. You're like, you don't? So he said, again, brilliant. If you see it, take my camera, you get the picture. So I picked the camera up, I took the picture and ran out, and that's what came out. Right where I pointed, right in the camera. That's where it was. And it was a human skeleton. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, like you can see the pelvis, you can see
Yeah.
like the rib
Rib
cage.
cage, the sternum. I don't want that either. I told
Mhm.
Jeff to destroy it. Luckily, he didn't do that. I'm like,
No, that's a good picture to keep, definitely,
they were
Chris, for
all
sure.
pretty
Yeah,
cool. Like I said, I didn't. And
definitely.
who could have guessed that these young teenage kids in college, upstate New York, would be on Netflix 40 years later for 9 million people to see? I mean, we just wanted to get it over with, especially me. So I could never have predicted this in a million years, ever.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's such like from beginning to end, like you're start like getting attacked. How
Yeah.
it started, what you came out of it with it. It's like mind blowing. Okay,
Mhm.
anything else you want to dive into with this?
I was just gonna ask, had you heard of anybody else experiencing this prior
Uh,
to you?
that's a
Mm,
very fair question, right? Because what's the history of this thing? When did it get there? To
Mm,
my knowledge, although honestly, I wasn't looking for prior incidences. I didn't care about that stuff. There was
mm.
no
mm,
prior moment. This began then when I was there, and it seemed to have ended right
Little
before I
buddy.
left. And I'm happy about that. The hard part for me too was ownership of this. People say, "Well, it's your ghost." I'm like, "No, it wasn't. My ghost isn't me. It's my spirit's in me. That's not my ghost." But
right.
they associated me with it, so they thought perhaps I could control it. Not the case. Maybe I
No.
spoke with it all the time. Not the case. No change of birthday cards. Didn't happen that way. I threw things at it. I ran away from it. It wasn't the very end. I got brave enough to actually face and talk to it. In the movies, there's a script, right? You
Mhm.
got the good person, the bad person. The bad person's challenged. The good person overcomes adversity. The good person falls in love, gets a weapon, and fights the bad guy. Good person wins. End credits.
Right.
But life isn't really like that. And I didn't know from day to day if I would live or what would happen. It was just not trying to feel bad for me. I made it through, but I needed my friends and my father and the priest and the psychiatrist, the professor of psychology there was important too with the evidence and material. A lot of people along the ways have really helped me a lot in terms of being able to survive this. And later on, share it. My own kids didn't know. My own
Mm.
children didn't know all growing up through teenagers because I didn't want to make them the ghost boys kid.
All
That
right. Right.
I couldn't make them. I didn't want them to be oblivious like I was. So I would tell them nighttime stories for bedtime stories
Mm.
about dragons and planets and starfish and unicorns and knights and all the. But in those fantasy stories were my experiences, so they could problem solve in those moments, the lessons learned by me, without being subjected to being the burden by being my child and my offspring. So they could define themselves with prior knowledge. It was hard to walk that life, and again people who go through really hard times, like the Great Depression, being homeless, things like that,
Hmm.
uh, you develop skills like that because you have to. And if you're wise and if you're strong, you share them with other people. You don't have to do that. Some people fall into themselves. I can't do this, but I didn't want to do that. I want to keep moving forward day by day, and luck, grace of God, love of friends, luck, whatever it is. Here I am, and you can tell I'm very happy about it.
Right.
One of our
That's
Chris, one
good.
of our viewers asks, "Are you able to ask a spirit to manifest?" And he or she does. So you still have this connection with spirit all these years later?
I would never call that thing back. I tried to, at the end, have it find some rest for itself. But
Yeah.
staying here didn't help anybody. People were
Hmm.
being hurt. Suffering was enduring. My goal was to see if I can convince it to allow itself to believe someone loved it, allow itself to be forgiven for what it thought was its mistakes and its sins. Just I really wanted to understand it deserved peace no matter who, and that there's always love out there. If you put your cup out, it could be filled. You may not realize, but it's
Okay.
there. And that was my goal, to help this thing out, because I couldn't do anything about it physically. And that, I think that might have worked. In terms of me as a person, well, once that happened, I was the ghost boy. People would follow me around, ask me questions, read my aura, predict my future, all these things. And for a little while, I tried to comply with that. But it was overwhelming. It wasn't something I was ever trained in. I never liked it. And after a couple of years, I put a cap on the bottle, because people will come in the house in the middle of the night, and 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a shadow in my room, or they'd say things like, "If you're a holy saint, what am I?" I'm like, it's just,
Mm.
and I couldn't do it. So again, another oops by my part. But
Yeah.
but luckily, I've always tried to be a good person. I've tried to be kind. I've tried to be, honest, and that seemed to have gotten me through most of the difficulties. And I think that my love of humanity has been a nice thing too. But as far as summoning, I think people can do that. There were a couple times where, when I was in a bad mood, and I was like, right after that, I'm like, I'm gonna summon something. And then no, better not do it. But I can feel the energy swirling up. I'm like, what? Not gonna do it.
I don't want none of
You,
that.
you can see there's no
Right.
limitation. They talk about power corrupting. You can see why even people who are faith healers, people who predict the future, can be addicted to this, because it can answer people's prayers. It can lead to rewards. It can bolster one's self-esteem in society. It can do lots of things. But the danger is, you become beholden to helping people, and you begin to create or lie or do other things to keep that relationship, so they feel better about themselves. You have a purpose. A lot of people fall into the hole of saying, I'm infallible, or just I have all the answers, or give me $5,000. I mean, good people I've seen fall into that place where I'm like, oh man, I understand it, but that's a hard fall. Once you lose your credibility, it's hard to get back. The people on TV, you might see some folks like that who I've known many years, who've done some really bad things. That was their choice, and they fall pretty hard down under the earth, because the higher you are. And I just wish them the best and try to give them some advice. But best to keep a clear head. Understand we're a small little part of the master plan, whatever that is. We have a special gift. Maybe we can sing or draw or share or speak or sense spirits. Maybe we can, we all have a special thing about us. The thing with folks, the paranormal, is it's less common of a gift. It's more noticed.
Sure. Chris, so after all the you got attacked in the shower, it seemed like it got pretty crazy. How did did it get more crazy than that? And then two, how did you make it stop? Or when did it end?
I think that as far as for me as a human being, dying on the bathroom floor was probably about as bad as it's going to get for a person.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
The opportunity to live beyond that and to have a second chance to problem solve and escape was a great thing. Beyond me, that's when things started to really take off and get really crazy. Or friends would say, I talked to my minister, he said, you repent for your sins, or, your devil's in you, or you've done something wrong in your past life to have this happen to you, or if you're God, who am I? Heal my pain and my cancer. And so the response to these things were way above my pay grade. I just try to be a nice person, but their perception of me went from being a happy, popular, healthy runner to either a circus freak who was possessed or to be avoided, or some kind of outcast, or some kind of divine prophet sent by God. You're seeing the dead. Your name is Christopher, which means you carry Christ with you. And like, yikes, it was tough. And I tried to always navigate in between. The newspapers came, the radio stations came to talk to me. I used to hide behind the big mailboxes outside so they couldn't see me. It was outrageous. And so toward the end, I said, you know what, this can't keep happening. I've got to eventually just talk to this thing, because we found Beth unconscious, knocked out on the floor. Linda was screaming, being pushed down on her bed. You can see her being compressed into the bed, screaming, help me, get this thing off of me. My friend Brian's like, it's on my leg, it's on my. I mean, one of our mutual friends ended up committing suicide, because they kept hearing voices and things. And so it was no joke for us. And one of the things I was worried about with Netflix and things, because, well, they define you, and if they can take whatever you say and change it around and manipulate it. And so when you do this, it's a cool opportunity, right, for a brand name and imagery, right, all this stuff. But at the same time, they create what you are for the globe. And so we all fought very hard for the integrity of our character in terms of how we're presented and what we are as people, and to show the friendships. And so in that show, True Haunting, you'll see the friendships are very strong and where we come from. There's a movie in the 80s called Stand By Me. Dun, 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 dun. It's based on a Stephen King novel called The Body.
Yeah.
And they're
Yes.
all trying to go on the tracks to find this person supposedly hit by the train, right? But it's not about that, really. It's about what they learn and experience on the way to find the body. Their journey is the thing, right? And so when they saw the folks from London, they saw us interact, and this is thanks to Mara and to Jeff and to Craig and everyone involved. Let's do this. Let's do that. We focus on the friendships. It's not just one person, and I really love that aspect of the show.
Yeah.
That
That's
was a good show.
how people can like through like either like visible trauma, through visible like danger, or through like what you guys experience. You pull together, and the team is definitely always the better orientation, I feel.
I vote yes.
Yeah. So when did it end? When did it stop, Chris?
Well, approximately April 17th, depending on if you count, like if it's 3 a.m. is the day before or the day after. I had this horrible dream. Paul's gone by then. Paul left. And in this dream, my friends were all dying. And I woke up like in sweat saying, this is horrible. And the thing was I was helpless to stop my friends from all being killed by this thing. And so I went across the hallway, took a shower, just washed the sweat off my body. It was the first time I was taking a shower in that place since the attack. But it was like 3 a.m. I used to go to the gymnasium instead, and they call them the gang showers, the big showers, because if I was attacked there, people see me and help me out. So, but I was so tired. I walked in there, and Craig was there. And Craig said to me as I'm in the shower, listen, you got to do something with this. You got to face this thing. You can't run from this. It's not going to let you do that. You have to believe you can do this, and you should go face it. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. He just cut my back up, a few weeks. I'm not going to do this. But he was right. Nothing else was working. No matter how many pictures we had, how many EVPs we had, no matter how many witnesses there were, nothing was changing. It was just spiraling worse and worse. And the only thing I could think was to agree with Craig, because the thing always wanted me. So fine, I will give you me. And I said to Craig, listen, if something happens to me, please swear to me you'll tell my parents it was my choice. Let them know I wanted this. I'm not coerced. I'm not forced. Please let them know I'm trying to do the right thing and be brave. Please. I got it. Got it, man. So I went to get my clothes. No clothes. No clothes. He goes, God made you. I'm like, so I went in there butt ass naked, and I went into my dorm room. They don't have that in the show. The biggest difference in the show is that it's outdoor final encounter. They did that because the screening group said, you're in the room, you're in the room, you're in the room. So they changed that just for artistic license for change of scenery for the show after an hour and 40 minutes. That's the one biggest change in the film that there is. But aside from that, it's very, very good. And I went in there and I said, listen, I'm breaking the blessing. I know you can hear me. I will help you one time. This is it. If you don't come here now, we'll never talk to you again. Now's your chance. I'm thinking to myself, this is stupid. And then on the wall, I see the shadow across the wall and the candle flickers. I'm like, oh, what am I doing? This is stupid. And there he was. And we talked. And I said, why are you here? And he said, made a mistake. So much pain. And his eyes, I mean, I hated this thing. I wanted to punish it for what it had done to my friends and me. And honest to God, his eyes were so sad. The saddest I'd ever seen. I could not hate. I wanted to. I couldn't do it. There was some spark of humanity in him that was saying, please help me. Please talk with me. And that's what the name of that independent film was. Please talk with me. And I did, and I said, where are you from? Because Jeff had said, ask questions. And he said, Danville. That's where Thomas Boyd was actually from. We found out years later. And I said, listen, you want my help? I'll give it to you. You need to find rest. You cannot stay here. Can't happen. It's not working. So if you want my help, if you trust I'm your answer, I'm giving it to you. You can be loved. You'll be forgiven. Please find rest. You just can't stay here. I'm going to count to 10. And when I finish 10, you cannot be here. And in an act of bravery or stupidity, I closed my eyes. They had to attack me. I trusted. I was showing full trust. My birthday suit, closing my eyes, saying, please, listen to me. Find rest. I counted to 10. 1001, 1002. And I was nervous. Got to 10, opened my eyes. Go on. And after that, there were no more flashing clocks. There were no more shadows. No whispering voices.
No more nothing, right?
That's it. And I waited for a couple. I didn't tell anybody what I did. I waited for a few days, and then people said, "Well, that's weird. Have you seen anything?" No one's had anything happen. And Jeff finally said, "What's going on?" And I explained to him what I had done. And he began to write down his notes, how to put the spirit to rest, and that's how the legend of the Ghost Boy started to spread around Western New York.
Wow.
That's incredible. When I first my first when I first tripped into this field, stuff like happened at a group home I was working in. I honestly, I tried to ignore it as much as I could, Chris. When I finally accepted that it was a ghost, all this shit that had happened was a
Right.
ghost. This woman at work says to me, "Buddy, you just got to talk to them." I'm like, what do you mean? I just got to talk to them? She said, "They're people. You just got to talk to them. If they're bothering you, tell them to leave you alone. Tell them to move on."
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
holy shit, is that for real? And I tried it, and dude, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm not here for you. I'm not here for your house. I'll keep
Right.
it safe, but I'm here for the safety of these children. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. And from like for another 6 months that I worked there, I never had a single experience in
I
this
think it's
house.
great, and I think it's good advice. Most people you'll meet, living people, are nice people,
Yeah,
but not everyone.
Yeah,
Most people will take your
that's
advice or
true.
not harm you, but some will. So in my case, I tried that 15, 16, 17 times with the black. I mean, it was not leaving. So I always hope that's the case. Some people have to stage their home. Some people have to get help. So because once in a while there's, I don't want to say the word like bad egg, but there's one that just does not respond. I agree
right,
with you. Most of the time you talk, set parameters, it's good. But there are cases, just like people get sometimes. People can get very violent in their life, right? They can do dumb things. They can hit
for
their
sure.
wives. They can hurt children. They can crash their. So it's and my what I saw with the paranormal and ghosts is sometimes these entities, they keep aspects of their personality and some remembrances of their life, who they were, and that still seems to in some way impact their presence. And so God bless you. I'm so happy that worked for you. Oh my gosh, the lights are flickering, and I
Oh,
hope.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, thank you everybody. They poop.
Uh
Welcome to my world. But I really hope that people can, make choices that actually help them.
So just talk to them, Chris. Is that your advice? If those are experiencing like crazy shit out there, just talk to them, right?
I think it's good to do three things: to go to sleep at night, get sleep,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're rested, so you heal your mind and your body, no matter what your situation is going to be, whether it's financial, physical, whatever relationships. The second thing is eat, sustain
Mm-hmm.
yourself, let your body nourish itself and grow. So sleep, you eat, and the third thing you do is you interact. That can be talking to the spirit, be journaling things, taking notes, taking pictures. Do something to help focus your fear or your anxiety in a way you can analyze it when you step away from it for a little bit. I think keeping yourself healthy, getting a good night's sleep when you can do it, and then applying yourself in a positive way are all good things for any type of crisis. It'll only
Mm,
help you.
that's
Right.
awesome. That's good
That's
advice.
true.
Jai, being somebody like yourself who has had some of the same similar experiences as Chris, how can you relate any of your experiences to his? Was it similar? Was it different? Can you speak on that
Um,
for a bit?
I saw more shadows than I would see as far as full body apparitions. It would just be the dark black shadows.
Right.
Um, but I can totally relate to what he's talking about. I wasn't hurt by them, but I
Mhm.
mean, I remember one time I was in the shower and I heard my dad yell my name, and he's like, well, my real name is Janita. So he's like, Janita. And I'm like, what, Dad? What? And I put a towel around me and jump out of the closet. That's a good one. Jump out of the shower, and nobody's home.
Right.
Nobody's home at all. So, yeah, I've had a lot of experiences like you've had. So, I know the torture
Yeah,
that you went through
yeah.
because mentally it really messes with you.
Yeah, it's
It
exhausting
does.
too. Yeah.
Like
It
hearing your own
is.
name. I've experienced that myself, laying in bed, just hearing "Bunny" in my ear,
Right.
or hearing my name called and there being nobody home. Do you, again, you think they're just trying to get our attention? They're just
I
trying to,
wanted it to say Paul. It wouldn't, or say Jeff, or
right? Say
Linda,
somebody
or
else,
Beth,
right?
or Craig, or Ed. No, Brian, it was always me. So this thing was
Right.
so focused. I didn't really have a choice but to, at some point in time, I don't understand when it was confront it, but to deal with it, to interact with it more than I really wanted to. But that's life, right? Sometimes at your job or in your family or neighborhood, you have to do things you don't really want to do, but it's the right thing to do, and you do it. And I think
Right.
if you try to be a good person, we don't always succeed. When you try to be a good person, it's important to care, right? It's important to look beyond yourself sometimes. Nothing wrong with loving yourself and putting yourself first when you need to, but it's
Hmm.
also nice to be part of a community. You know?
Yep.
True.
Yep.
Did
Now all
did you
these.
deal with
Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, no,
Did you
you.
deal with did you deal with any poltergeists?
I don't
activity?
know. I never knew labels. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was different from a
Really?
spirit to a ghost to that. I just watched and saw things and reported back what I saw. I never had an interest in it. I never researched it. Jeff was brilliant. He read Colin Wilson, things like that. He read all these books. He was very well versed in history, spiritualism, the Fox sisters. So I would explain
Hmm.
what I was seeing, feeling, touching, and things. He would then try to put it in a context that I understand in terms of, well, this is called tupping, and this is called this, and this is a projection, that this is a apportation. So he was the one really that was allowed me to find some kind of bearing as to what the experience was. And it was kind of cool
Hmm.
though, because I didn't have presupposed notions. I didn't go in knowing what was happening. So it's a very honest experiment. It was very, very valid because I didn't have, I wasn't trying to prove something. We're trying to see where the data led to, and so it's a very honest thing. And a lot of times when they make these TV shows, it's some kid in the basement. And he's angry and he has a Ouija
Right.
board or a voodoo doll, and he get back at the world, and no one likes him, and he fights back at the power of the evil. But that wasn't me. I didn't want it to happen. And I know many people want this. A lot of people I love, that I care about and respect, spend hundreds of hours a years going to old forts and mansions and graveyards and places looking for something, looking for an answer, for a clue, for some piece of data that can say, what does this mean? I never, ever, ever asked for that. And I got the Holy Grail. It's
Yeah.
Right.
spoken by apparition almost every day for 90 days. This thing talking, people seeing it, photograph. I mean, it's really like it's part of my expression, the wet dream of any paranormal researcher. But
Paranormal researcher.
I didn't want it. It just goes to show you, though, life happens. We
Yeah.
have our
Yeah.
plans, and they're good to have our plans. You work towards them, but life happens, and it's important in those moments when life happens. The blank hits the blank, but
Right.
losses can be horrible. Some loss
Oh.
you don't get over. You just don't do it. You're brave. You're strong. You move on, but it's always a piece of you in there,
Oh, for sure. It's always a
and
chapter in your life for sure. Yeah.
you can always look back and second guess and drown yourself and not care, or you can respect yourself, the person you lost, the people who love you, and move forward and contribute and laugh and experience, because the people you lose, the friendship you lose, they don't want you to be happy and move forward. I really think if people are honest with each other, we are not so different. We don't have to be
Yeah.
fascists or communists. We don't
Hmm.
have to be young and old or black and white. We don't have to do that to ourselves. Babies don't
Mhm.
hate that way. We learn to do that.
Hmm.
It's a sad,
Mhm.
sad thing. I'm blaming nobody, because all of us have a tendency sometimes to, look at the other and say, oh, well, look at that. It's just human because we want to survive. But at the same time, we should look beyond ourselves and say, well, let's kind of just work together once in a while. It feels good. We shouldn't take 9/11 to do that. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't take people dying for us to say, let's be nice for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
Hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the story a little bit. So your friend Paul was
Yes.
your roommate at the time, right? No, he just kind of got up and left one day. Have you
Yes.
have you ever talked to Paul since then? Have you ever been like, hey,
Oh, I wish I had. He
really?
loved Rush, that band Rush. He loved them and
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Sawyer and things. Oh God, he loved it. And he no, I came back one evening, and his stuff was out of the room. And Jeff was bringing his laundry into the room and some sheets. I'm like, what the? He goes, you're probably wondering what's happening. I'm like, yeah, I'm wondering what's happening. Well, Paul and I talked about it, and Ed, we feel it's best if we change rooms. Paul doesn't want to be here anymore because it's too much, and I feel I can help you out by being here. And I'm like, was somebody gonna talk to me about this change?
Hmm.
And at first
Right.
I was hurt because they didn't consider my feelings. Paul had been my best friend in the cause at that point in time, and that friendship was over. And they were all helping me. I was the victim. But on the other hand, they were helping me, and I needed help. And so I agreed to be the victim, accept this change, because they meant well, and I felt this maybe would be the best thing because I can't control things. So I got over that pain. But
Hmm.
soon after he left college, soon thereafter, last thing he had said was that the ghost told him to leave me alone, leave Chris alone. The ghost told several times, "I'm going to stay around." Ghost was threatening him, leave me alone, get away from him. So he did. He left college. A gentleman named Alan Lewis, a friend of Jeff's from high school, found Paul 9 years later, living not too far, about half an hour from the college. And he went to visit him at his home. And the first thing Paul said was, I only live in new houses, to suggest that always might be haunted, right? Because something happened.
Right.
He asked how I
Right.
was doing, if I was okay. He's happy to hear I was alive. Um, Then Alan said some things he had learned from me, and Paul's like, my gosh, that's exactly everything that happened. I can't believe he remembers all that. Well, this is pretty impactful for him. Then he began to say things that he experienced that I wouldn't have known. And it's fascinating to hear how he did that. But Alan said that he told me that it seems like that was his one and done. He just wanted to make sure I was okay, give his 2 cents, and move on. He said, let the past stay in the past. Sci-Fi reached out to him. The crew from Please Talk to Me reached out to him. Charles reached out to him. Netflix reached out to him. His mom tried to convince him. He does not want to think about it, deal with it. It might in part be because he feels guilty about leaving him behind. I have no ill will. If I could, I would have too. 40 minutes from the college, So I admire him for doing what's best for him to survive, to have a job, raise a family, be a functioning adult. Fine. I don't know if I'd love to see him again. I'd love to talk to him again, but that's on him. I don't want to force myself on anybody. I'll always love him and care for him. And I hope if he ever hears me talk about this, he'll understand my respect for staying as long as he did and for the friendship.
It's pretty cool. I mean, sad story that you guys kind of like separated after that. But
They're both twins. We were so close. And then that thing, it took, I couldn't run anymore. I was losing my scholarship. I was failing my classes. My friendship was being destroyed. Everything I worked so hard for to have was being destroyed. It just was a very difficult time. And, I mentioned this before 9/11. After that happened, that attack, you remember Boston planes went to the towers, things like that.
Yep.
None of my friends joined the military. They wanted to fight for freedom and democracy and stand up. It's noble. It's a cool concept. But when you go there and kids have bombs in their back and you can't communicate and you don't see your family, it's not like the movies. War is much worse than the movies show. So I tell people when you're looking for ghosts and things, just be careful. You may find what you're looking for, but it might not be what you want. So be honest, pursue, work hard, dedicate yourself, but be open to the possibility it might not be exactly what you think it is. I think that's fair.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just like love, right? It might not be what you think it is.
For sure. I knew a kid, I went to investigate, I helped a kid investigate, and he went off on his own, and he's like, buddy, I just want to have experiences. He went and he bought a haunted doll. And I'm like,
on purpose?
On purpose. Knowing that thinking it was haunted. And then like months later, he calls me again. He's like, buddy, this stuff happened in my apartment. I don't like cupboards are swinging up. I'm like, dude, you bought a haunted doll.
What?
I sent him a demonologist.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota. I'm dating myself, but he got what he asked for.
He got exactly what he asked for, dude. I would never. I hate dolls, and even haunted dolls are like probably 100 times worse. I don't know why you would even invite either one in your home. Things that cause me trauma, dolls, paranormal experiences. Were you ever like being a guy who works in mental health? Were you ever like traumatized with PTSD, nightmares after this happened?
The whole thing was traumatizing. That was
that's
horrible.
it. Yeah.
I joke with the kids at school. I have PTSD. I can't spell it, but now I have it. PTSD. Most people who survive these horrors, these enduring moments, they do get PTSD. Whether it's working through poverty, working through illness, rejection, all these things, it does change how you think. PTSD, but most of us over time will smooth the edges where you really can't tell. We might take our leg, maybe a nervous tick, and might bite our fingernails. We might look away and not make eye. There are little tells you can see when someone's going back in the head to those moments. I'm pretty good at disguising mine, but at nighttime, if I'm by myself and the wind is blowing outside and I'm in my bed and I hear any noise, I wake up on average 4 or 5 times a night, every night, car door slams. It's been 40 years. Yeah. It's probably not coming back. But my mind tells me, and it's not wrong, it happened once, it can happen again. And so it damages you. And so I usually try to sleep in the daytime after work, take a nap. So at nighttime, I can wake up 4 or 5 times and not be too adversely affected by that. I tend to sleep with the light on all the time. I don't like to sleep with the light off. And Lorraine Warren said, don't do that. She had said that these spirits, these energy ghosts, they draw energy from things, from people's bodies, from electricity outlets, from lights, from things. You don't want to see it. Turn lights off. They can't feed. But she said that, and I understand that, but I want to see. I'm sorry. I know it's bad, but I want to see. When I had my eye cancer surgery, I said to the doctor, I love you very much. I respect you. I'll punch you with my eyeball. You better knock me out. If you touch my eyeball with needles and shit, sorry, I love you, but I'm telling you, I'm not that strong. And so, of course, they put me out. But I'm a very honest person, but everybody has something they don't like that really puts them off, and I'm very fortunate to be able to speak all around the country. People invite me there. They pay my way sometimes. It's very nice.
Yeah.
But often they want me to go and investigate. I don't like doing
Mhm.
that. Things attach themselves to me
Mhm.
this day. I hear things very clearly, and my experience is very negative. I don't want to keep having it happen. So usually if that happens, I'm polite and professional. I'll go on the ghost investigation and stand by a door and say, look over there, look at that, and not really involve myself. I want to be polite and be a good guy. But
That's nice.
I'm true to myself. I don't do things I don't want to do because I've suffered enough because of those things.
Oh yeah, dude. Why would you want to? Why would you want to inadvertently open a door that would bring all that shit rushing back into into your home again?
What would I gain
That's
from it, right? Do ghosts exist? I know they do. I have seen it. I mean, what would I gain more to see it again? And that's
right.
almost selfish. I'll let
Right.
somebody else see it now.
Bring it into your home or your family. Like, you don't want to do
No,
that shit,
thank
right?
you. No, thank you. That's a
You
horrible
teach
thought. I
kids in the
remember, yeah,
school. God knows what kind of where it could like deposit itself in your life and
again,
mess with
most
it.
people are nice and most spirits are nice, but not everyone is nice, and not every spirit acts in a way that's friendly. That's just the way it's going to be. Yeah. Imagine this, and I say this. I'm sorry if I repeat myself on this point, but if somebody wakes up tonight in their bed in the middle of the night and they see someone they don't know standing over them smiling, you will never forget that moment. Who is
Oh,
it?
for sure.
How'd they get in? Am I at risk? Is there someone with them in the room? And if they leave, where are they?
It's fucking
Every night
creepy,
you lock
dude.
your door twice, lock your windows twice. This can't happen again. You can call the police, give a report, but the guy's out there. Was it a mistake? Is he targeting me? Did I do something wrong to somebody? And now add on the police don't believe you because it's a ghost. That's the kind of
Right.
terror that you have where the supports aren't really what it should be. And
Right.
if you don't feel safe in your own bed, that's a problem. Anyone who's been in the shelter before, they don't carry money with them. They hide it in their socks and things like that. They keep one eye open. They sleep when they can. They hold it close to their bodies.
Hmm.
That's what happens. It's not like shelter. No, because there's always one person at 55 going to say, "Take your shit, run his pockets." They want it. You're here. I'm here. Let's make the most of this. No, don't take me down. And so if you've been in a shelter, someone's been in a shelter before, they know. Let's avoid it next time. Let's see if we can avoid it next time. If I have to, it's there. If there are
Hmm.
ghosts out there, there are ghosts. But I prefer not to be in a shelter again. I prefer not to be in a haunting again. I think it's fair.
Yep,
Mhm.
for sure. Jai, before we wrap up this evening, any last questions you'd like to ask our beloved guest?
No
Um,
math, right?
no, no. Not that I can think of. I think you pretty much covered all bases.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, you can be found. You have a book. This book here, Surviving Evidence.
Oh,
It's
11 years ago. This is the new one. This is right here.
yeah, I have that new cover. Hold on, this one. Yeah, this one here.
Yeah, that's
This
the
one
one.
here.
That's
That's
the
you in the
toga
toga,
party.
right?
That's
Yeah,
my
that.
last night before I saw the ghost ever, but I'm still happy. After that,
Wow,
things got crazy. That's the toga party.
dude, that's a hell of a toga with the tie and the jacket and
Well,
stuff. You look
the
Right? Yeah,
girls
I was
half
looking
tore.
at
classy and
it.
half
Listen to
toga.
my story. The
Okay.
girls
Pretty
tore my toga
stylish.
off. I was butt ass
Ooh.
naked. Don't want to see
Oh,
if that's the carpet. Very rude, those
Jesus.
colored girls. So Jeff had me go back to the room and put a hat on and a tie and a jacket so it wouldn't happen a second time. The girls tore my clothes off in
Mm.
the middle of the room. So I'm like, okay, round two. That's kind of funny, right? Put the hat
Yeah.
on, make it harder for them. And I was trying at that point in time, it might sound silly, to wait to have a relationship with someone that I loved, not just have a one night stand. So
Of
Jeff knew
course.
that. And so rather than me give in to the urges because my clothes are all off, he went back, put me back together again and put me down again with the thing. Again, he's a great, great friend. Yeah. So the book is on Amazon. It's really
Awesome.
cool. It's soft cover, hardcover, audio book, and Kindle. It's called The Ghost Boy of Earhawk. My last one, I'm done. It's 400
Nice.
pages of all the stuff in there. It's my magnum opus. And I think it's pretty
Oh
good.
yeah. So it's more than the original. The 11 years ago, it's more
Double that. It's
double
double.
that. Oh, nice. I'll have to put that up. And people can see your new show on still on Netflix. I saw it the other day. True
Yeah.
Hunting. You can all see your school spirits. That was on. What was that Sci-Fi?
That was on
Channel?
Sci-Fi. Now it's on YouTube Prime and it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay. And anything else? People can see your lovely face and hear your lovely
Oh my
story on
goodness.
Chris.
Don't mess. There's also an independent film called Please Talk With Me.
Yep.
And that was done. The director, Mara Katria, won an award for that for Best Film at the Wilson College Film
Nice.
Festival. The producer, Bill Edwards, is my publisher right now. And you can get that CD either from CITA Ventures, CITA Ventures.com,
Yep.
or EIA.com or marketria.com. They all have those, and I'm very proud of that. That's a nice thing. And I'm
That's
on
cool.
Reddit and Facebook and Instagram and X and all
Yep.
those things, mostly Facebook.
All the
And
socials,
I'm
of
on tour.
course.
Yeah, on tour, meeting people, shaking hands, and just a word of warning, everybody out there. I'm actually smarter and better looking on TV.
Yeah, yeah. It's this Netflix, that the actor that played you, Chris, is his that golden white man fro was like absolutely beautiful.
They had to give it to him. It was a 3-hour process, and
I
he
bet.
he auditioned as a backup person in the dance party, and they said, "You know what? You look just like Chris's face. Give it a go." He auditioned. He got the
Nice.
part, and now he's on the Amazon station and that
Yeah.
Gen V show, the Boy spin-off Gen V. He's an actor now. He did very well for himself. But first he was me, and now he's doing great for himself. Wyatt Dorian.
You spawned his
Awesome.
kid's career. That's amazing, dude.
Right.
Your
Good
face.
boy,
That's great.
activate.
Also, yeah, so that's about it with you. Chris, any thoughts? I don't recall. Are you in do you follow the NFL? Do you have you're in New York, so I imagine you have a New York
Your
team.
face, what they're thinking. I can't see what they're doing. I have been a Kansas City Chiefs fan since 2002.
Oh.
I used to like the Jets, but they
Oh,
gave me great pain. When I was 4 years old, Joe Namath won the Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
for 30 years, I heard about Joe Namath winning the Super Bowl and gangrene. It's more like an infection, I thought. I went out to Kansas City, Missouri for a business training. And I was at the airport. There was a woman there who couldn't get her luggage off the rack. She had knee braces. She couldn't do it. And so I helped out. She goes, "Thank you so much. Where are you from?" I said, "New York." She goes, "And you're nice from New York?" I said, "We're not all mean." So she goes, "Do you know who George Brett is?" I'm like, "Sure I do." He goes, "Well, I'm his secretary. You just missed him." So she got me to a baseball game. I got to go to the stadium, go in the locker room, meet the players, take batting practice. And Arrowhead Stadium is right next to Kauffman Stadium. So at that point in time, I was so in love with Kansas City and the people there. I became a Chiefs and I became a Royals fan. But they were good then. They were.
Yeah, they were good. They still.
I was like Jim Zorn in the Seahawks back in the day too. Remember Jim Zorn in the Seahawks way back?
I mean, other than the Jets, are probably
I
all better than my Dolphins.
Remember Larry Zonka and the Dolphins back in the day?
Yeah. Larry Zonka, my Dolphins.
Yeah, you put me in, and I remember Doug Kotar rushed for the Giants, and I have some knowledge.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. Any thoughts for the opening round of the playoffs, Chris? Any favorites for the Super Bowl? Any predictions from the Ghost Boy?
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Then people will take my word, bet and lose. So I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to enjoy it. Hope the halftime show's okay.
Pick the Chiefs. No, wait, don't pick the Chiefs. They're not in it.
No, I have no dog in the race.
That's fair. Guy, any predictions there? Anything you want to toss out there? Your Steelers? Do you think
for the Steelers all day?
Oh God, Aaron Rodgers is not going to make it.
I mean, how many Super Bowls have they had compared to the other
Terry
teams?
Bradshaw,
all right.
They had a few, right?
I really can't say anything. My team is atrocious and
they were
will
there.
always be atrocious. What's not atrocious? What's not atrocious? On Thursday, boys and girls, join us at Three Dudes Brews as we come back on. We have a guy from Instagram, this chug guy coming on, and I'm going to be honest. The last time we had him on, I was sick. I'm a big chugger of beer. I love beer. So join us on Thursday night for that live at 7 p.m. rather. Tune in for the release of episode 15 of Three Dudes Brews from the Outer Light down in out in Groton, Connecticut. That was a good show, good beer. And next week here on The Ghost and the Goat, as we welcome Rick from the Lizzie Borden House. He's a tour guide there, and we're right up the road. He's Fall River. I'm like just west of Providence, so it should be a good time. For the Ghost Boy, Chris DiCesare, for Jai, this has been Buddy Thayer. This is the Ghost and the Goat. It's been a great time, folks. Tune in next week. Drink good beer. Have a good week. Go, not Patriots. Later.